The Cogswell Interchange. This is what's left. Some called it the road to nowhere. Public outcry stopped it from becoming a freeway running along the harbor. But not until after the Cogswell Interchange and the massive concrete buildings surrounding it were built, destroying the neighborhood that once existed here. 75-year-old Jean Dunn remembers the way it was in the 1950s. Until the age of 12, she lived there. She knew it as just downtown.
Okay, so this was Hurd Street.
Yeah.
And your house was?
Right about here.
Right about here.
Yeah.
Dunn's parents, Lloyd Sugar Borden and his bride, Isabel, created a loving home for their kids. Eventually, they were able to rent an entire house.
And that's obviously Hurd Street.
Hurd Street,
The
yeah.
house that you rented.
Yeah.
Others rented tenements in old wooden buildings. Whites, immigrants, and black families all lived in this low-rent community. The city had a name for it and wanted it gone.
Back then, that neighborhood was described as the slums. Were you aware of that?
Yeah. I didn't see it as the slums when I was there because we were sort of all in the same boat. Like we all had and had not the same things. And we were happy with our lot in life.
In 1958, the city of Halifax and the federal government, through CMHC, agreed to share the cost of acquiring and clearing a 10-block area downtown.
The city's plan for the neighborhood made into a film for the Canada Housing and Mortgage Corporation.
Communities that have deteriorated gradually into slums, creating a serious problem for the whole city.
The city demolished homes in the Cogswell area to build the interchange, a shopping mall, and a trade show building, calling it slum clearance in the name of urban renewal. Families like the Bordens were moved into Mulgrave Park. Others moved into Uniacke Square. But there still weren't enough units for all the relocated people. And stigma moved with them.
I think for some people it beats them down and makes them believe it, and there are other people that say, no, I can rise above this, watch me.
26-year-old Trino Morton was raised by his mom in Uniacke Square. Now he's the head of New Roots Community Land Trust, a nonprofit group that's trying to break the dependency on public housing and social assistance. He knows some black descendants from Cogswell and Africville, communities both erased decades ago, are still stuck here.
The terrible part is it was sold to us as transition housing with educational and job opportunities, but those never materialized. And now we have, like I said, it was transition housing. Now we have fourth, fifth generation families living in here and just no signs of them moving out. And you can't help but blame the city for that. And like I said, there's been nothing done to help us return to that previous status of homeowners and business owners.
Thriving community.
Exactly. A thriving, close-knit community either.
The Land Trust has a vision to reclaim the land amid the rubble of the interchange. 2 towers with approximately 430 apartments, homes for people from all backgrounds, but prioritizing black seniors and youth with space for a daycare and black-owned businesses. Morton is asking the city to give up some land, Parcel D, for the displacement.
There's been nothing done to help us transition, get us closer to home ownership in these communities or anything like that. So I think that's why reparations are needed and just much deserved. We've been through enough and we continue to go through it.
73-year-old Manny Gross was baby number 7 when his family lived near Cogswell Street.
Your first few years were living on Jacob Street?
Jacob Street, so I don't remember anything besides the fact that I fell into the stove and burnt myself really badly.
The family left that home to make way for the interchange. There were 3 more moves for Henry and Irene, a laborer and a hospital cleaner. Nearly 20 years after they were first displaced, the couple overcame barriers to home ownership faced by Black people and bought a house, stability for the family.
But I was up at the school, yeah!
Their grandson, Sean, a leader in African Canadian education, says disrupting a Black community has far-reaching effects.
The importance of having community and other people around you and loved ones and people who can support you and tell you that anything and everything is possible. Those are the aspects of when communities are destroyed that people get displaced. And us as people of African ancestry, we really rely and depend upon each other.
For Henry and Irene, home ownership is a feat that only one of their 11 children were able to replicate.
And John and them guys were down past the basketball court. Oh yeah, they're down here.
Sean lived with his dad in public housing until he was 30. He eventually bought a house, following a path his grandparents paved. Elizabeth Chiu, CBC News, Halifax.